Walker Tea Review, where we're coming at you today with Rishi's Sencha. We're going to go ahead and get this started. We're going to go talk a little bit about the tea as we do. This is a Japanese green tea, and it's quite delicate, so it can require a little bit more of attention in our preparation. So we're going to go ahead and get it started. I'm going to spread out a little bit here so that we can look at that. Come back and talk a bit about it in just a second, but let's get it ready to go. Now, with green teas like this particular Japanese green, they prefer slightly cooler temperatures. They prefer about 180 degrees or below 200 in general, and that's what we're going to be talking about here. So let me go ahead and pull up our packaging and line it up for you so that you can look. This is Rishi's, and it's an organic. It's a sencha. It's from, what else can I tell you? This particular package is 60 grams, $14. This is from the Kagoshima area of Japan, which has the advantage of being one of the areas where teas come in or are ready for harvest first. So it has its advantage in that particular aspect. As we mentioned, organic and some preparation instructions that we want to talk about as well. Tablespoon per 8 ounces of water. Brewing suggestions here. Temperature of 180 degrees and a steep time of 3 to 4 minutes. Instructions also, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about 1 serving of sencha can be steeped 2 times. Because it is a more delicate tea, you have to pay close attention to it, keep an eye on it, make sure it's the right color and brothiness for you. Things that we want to notice, actually this is looking the way that I would like it to look. It's smelling the way I'd like it to smell, so I'm going to go ahead and begin to pour. And we'll come back and talk about details in just a minute. So we've got our nice steeping cup here. I'm going to set that aside. One of the things you notice is a nice, pleasant aroma unique from the Chinese greens that I see more Chinese greens advertised or promoted on online teas. So this one has a stronger brothy smell. It's a little bit of a spinach. It's a little bit of a kind of a watercress sweet mix in there as well. I get a little bit of a kind of a, it's not a bean, it's bean taste or smell. It's more like a cross between a green soybean kind of pea, fresh sweet greenness to it. But that's what our aroma of our dry leaf is. Let's also look for a moment, go down here to our dry leaf so that you can have a look. Now, senchas generally are not as green as a gyokuro. Gyokuros are shaded more, so they are a deeper, richer green, but these are greener than some of the pan-fired or fixed Chinese style of greens. What you see is a rich green. You see, because of the way this is steamed and processed, it is a more delicate, fragile, smaller pieces of leaf. You'll see some pieces that are maybe let's see, about ½ an inch long, and then you'll have more delicate pieces as well. You often see a sencha that's offered in a tin because it is a very delicate and you don't want to crumble it all into a powder either. Okay. What else do I want to talk a little bit about? Yeah, that gives us a little bit of information about our dry leaf, about the smells of our dry leaf, a little bit about the background of the area and the way that senchas are generally made or produced. Let's go ahead now and talk a bit about our liquid, and we'll zoom in here for a second so that you can see This is a bright green color that we have as well. I'm going to lift it up. Because particles are so small, you will have some, unless you've got a very fine strainer. We have a very small opening in our cup here, so we had some particles of leaf that slipped through. If you want if you do want to avoid that, you're going to want to have a very fine meshed strainer or a tea bag. You prepare your own tea bag, open tea bag, where you can prevent those from coming through. Okay, a thing that we notice is that in our cup and our wet leaf, I find that Senchas have a creamy smell to them, a brothy smell to them. There's kind of a brothy cream, not exactly a milk, but a creaminess that is unique to the Japanese style greens, okay, which is something that we look forward to and expect. Another thing about Senchas is that you may find more pieces of stem in a Sencha than, say, some of your more delicate Gyokuros or higher grade Gyokuros as well. So let's go ahead, and we've talked about our color. Let's have a look, taste. Yeah. Now, when you pay attention, when you get the right amount of water temperature, the right amount of leaf, and you steep for the right amount of time, you will get a very smooth, consistent flavor that goes from that kind of a spinach, watercress, kind of a sweet soybean, green soybean that transfers directly from your leaf. You'll get the smell in your wet leaf, and it'll go straight into your cup. It's smooth, it's consistent. Also, if it's done correctly, there is little to no bitterness. There is not a very astringent aftertaste as well, but it requires a very, very careful attention, a lot of precision in what you're doing. More precision, say, than a lot of your Chinese greens. This is one that you're going to enjoy when you have the time to pay attention to all those details. It's not something that you can step away from easily. You have to be there, moving it around, keeping that temperature right. Other things that we want to mention is that, yes, because it is a very smooth, consistent, I would talk about it like it was a foreign sedan. It's got a little bit of luxury to it. It's got some good performance to it, like a luxury car, luxury sedan type, but it also requires a little bit higher maintenance. Pulling all this together to talk about what we have here in front of us today, our experiences from previous tastings, I would like to have seen our second steeping. As I said, it takes a little bit of time and practice to get that right mix of all the elements, but still I would have liked to have seen a more consistent second steeping of that smoothness, because it does dissipate rather quickly. It was hard to replicate that second time. I wish it had been a little bit easier to do. So, given that it is a very rewarding, rich, smooth, but didn't carry on very far, we give this one an 89, which is still a very respectable score. This is Rishi's, again, tea. It is organic. We said 60 grams, $14. I'm Jason Walker, and this is Walker Tea Review.